Fiction is full of a whole lot of heroes and villains. The villains would go on to be heroes, and some of the heroes would go on to be villains. So today we're going to be counting down the top 10 greatest fictional redeemed villains of all time, as of 2026, so not going to preamble any longer. Let's just get into it. At first we have to go over the rules. So what counts as a redeemed villain? First of all, they have to be well known as a redeemed villain. It doesn't really matter if they go back and forth, kind of like Harley Quinn as an example, but they will still be included on the list if they are more well known nowadays as a hero and more well known back then as a villain. So those are all the rules. Let's just get into it. Number 5. Knuckles the Echidna from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Yeah, there's a reason why he's only number 5. Here's the whole reason why I made that they have to be more well known as a hero and back then more well known as a villain, because that's exactly what Knuckles is. His introduction was in Sonic 3, or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where he was the main antagonist, but he was tricked into working with Dr. Eggman, and it happened again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Seriously, they have to find new ways to have Knuckles be manipulated other than Super Master M. But yeah, he works very well as a redeemed villain. And again, he's down here because he's not really well known as being a redeemed villain. So what makes him work as a redeemed villain? A, there's actually a reason to why he was redeemed. B, he has that human spirit in him to where he can still be tricked. And that's all I have. Knuckles is kind of boring as a redeemed villain, which is exactly why he's this low on the list. But we're gonna go into someone who's kind of like this later, but does it way better. Oh yeah, speaking of which. And the 4th best fictional redeemed villain is Vegeta from Dragon Ball. Yep, he's this low for the exact same reason. Although, he's not really too much of a back and forth villain, he's more well known as a hero. And that's who more people know him as, but yeah. Why does he work so well? Very similar to Knuckles, he was manipulated into joining an empire after, he's the last of his race. Should really do a solar flip between these two, that'd be kinda cool. But Vegeta is more well known as a hero now because he has a kid named Trunks, a wife, and much cooler powers. And I love it when a redeemed villain would go on to fight the force that, transformed them into a villain, but now they're good. It's part of the reason why I love the movie Megamind so much, because Megamind was evil because of Metro Man. And when he made Metro Man 2.0 and it went out of control, you just see him fight him. And even though it's unrelated, it kind of is, because, alien. I'm getting off track, let's just move on to number 3. Number 3. Long John Silver from Disney's Treasure Planet. Okay, this is one of those confusing ones where if you had no outside knowledge, you swear that he's a Knuckles case where he just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, he's A semi-good twist villain, and B, a very good redeemed villain. Because he's a pirate. Pirates are usually seen as the bad guys in fiction, but he has human to him, even though he's a bear thing, which is why he's so high. Not in that
Smoke
way,
weed.
because he has that human spirit, and he wasn't exactly manipulated. I find it great when pure evil gets redeemed, because it's so uncommon. It's this movie legitimately made me want to cry, and this is the first time about me talking about a Disney movie, but if you have Disney Plus, check it out. Check out the movie, it's cool, it's great, it's so good, and look! He's a great redeemed antagonist. He went from stereotypical pirate to father figure to full father figure. And in that final scene where he chooses between the metal and James, he chooses James, giving up his lifelong dream to save one life. And I love that so much about Long John Silver. I just love him as a redeemed villain. He's a great father figure, and I don't get how this movie bombed at the box office. It's a great movie. Check it out. Has a great redeemed antagonist. Just check out the movie! I went off on Billy with the side tangent. But why is he only number 3? Mainly because I just like the top 2 a bit more. But God, just watch the movie! Number 2. Okay, this was tied for number 1, but I don't really want to spoil who number 1 is, so I'm not gonna mention them. Instead, we're going to mention another very good redeemed villain that may make me go on a side tangent. Megamind. Yes, I mentioned him earlier. Yes, y'all may thought that he wasn't gonna be on the list, but God, I just love his movie. And the only reason why he isn't number 1 is because I relate to number 1 way more than Megamind. So, if you haven't watched Megamind, here's a bit of a synopsis. It's basically about an alien who goes to a planet, meets a fights him, fake death. It's just reverse Superman and Lex Luthor, but Lex Luthor won. And I kind of like that. So, what makes Megamind such a great redeemed antagonist? Mainly because he started his problem, but he also ended his problem. When Megamind was facing Metro Man for the final time, he didn't want to take his life. But I love how there's depth to how he becomes redeemed. First, there was him getting bored, then there was Roxanne, who he genuinely loved, and I ended up being with. But then there was Titan, who I may talk about later, but God, he's a great antagonist. He's created by Megamind, and it teaches the lesson, please don't make your own issues, because it's going to be hard to get rid of. And the final clash between Megamind and Titan really makes you want to talk about one of these characters on the channel more. Maybe in a solar flare, but I'm currently working on something else for that. But anyway, I'm starting to get off topic a bit. Watch Megamind. Let's go on to number 1. And the number 1 best redeemed antagonist is what is the best thing that a redeemed antagonist could be? Relatable? Makes you rewatch the movie a bunch of times? Wait, I spoiled who it was. Yes, Spinel from Steven Universe is, in my opinion, the best redeemed antagonist. And kinda similar to Megamind, but Megamind created his problem, and Spinel helped the problem. Like, no, seriously, you understand where she's coming from? Because she was outright abandoned for 6,000 years in a garden. And then she finally turned evil. To me, it would have been like 6 seconds. But, yeah, 6,000 years alone in a garden, in the exact same place. And when she saw that the person who she was waiting for no longer existed, that time felt like a waste. And so, she turned to evil, wanting to kill the entire planet of Earth on Steven Universe's happiest day. Don't do a happiest day! Steven Universe movie was amazing. I rewatched it multiple times when it first came out, specifically because of Spinel. That, and she would return in Steven Universe future, and once that happened, I ship those two. I ship it. But here's something that I noticed. Whenever she's evil, she appears to be taller and far more confident, but when she's good, she's shorter and way more emotionally soft, which I kind of find really clever, because it contrasts her normal, or pre-corrupt self, and her post-corrupt self, which I think is a metaphor for emo girls, or goth girls. But seriously, I have to talk about Spinel in some way, shape, or form in the future. I can't really talk about her as much as I want here. just know she's a great redeemed antagonist. I love her so much. She's very relatable in the way that, you know, I'm 14 years old, currently going through puberty, and I'm kind of getting the why is everyone leaving my life? Because in 2024, my grandfather passed away due to cancer, and yeah, I'm still grieving to this day. Which is pretty normal. But it's how he abandoned me when I was so young. Alright, let's just go on to the post section. A new list done, and it's my first top 5, top 10 list that isn't about Death Battle, which I really enjoy. It brings new depth to my channel, and I hope to do more like this in the future. Anyway, this has been Darandomboy, signing off.